Hi, my name is Christina. I've been attending St. Francis for about a year, and I've now been officially initiated into the Catholic Church since Easter 2021.
Hi, my name is Mica, and I've been a parishioner at St. Francis for about 2.5 years and an official Catholic since Easter of 2021.
I'm Katrina. I've been a parishioner of St. Francis since February of 2019, and as of Easter 2021, am a full initiated member of the Catholic Church.
I was looking for an RCIA program. I lived on 102nd at the time, so I kind of just found it online, and the website was very inviting, and I know I had passed by before, but I think it was definitely the website, and I just kind of did the inquiry form to Jane about wanting to start the program because it was you could join at any time, which was a big thing for me.
Just the feeling of community at SFDS is very different than in other churches that I went to that felt a little colder, So what brought us there was we were just looking for our home church, I guess. And then I felt like there were just a lot of things that made me feel like this is the right place for us.
So I can tell you that it was not convenience. And I say that with a whole lot of love. I don't live in the neighborhood. I don't live near St. Francis, but had made the decision that I was ready to explore my faith and was seeking a group with which to do that. So I have a couple of funny stories. I went into a couple of churches, one of which wasn't even a Catholic church. They were very patient with me as I gave my whole explanation, only to stop and say, well, we think that's great, but this is not going to be the place for you to do that. But I did eventually meet a really lovely priest on the west side who knew of St. Francis, knew of the RCIA program, and even specifically knew Jane and was kind enough to refer me there. And that was in February of 2019. And there's so much I can say that I'm grateful for about RCIA.
My fiance and his family were kind of the catalysts of just me being introduced to Catholicism. It was kind of always a question of, is this something that you would want in your life as well? But it wasn't really forced on me at all. And then we got engaged, and then I had this, come to Jesus moment in Mass, the Sunday after we got engaged, and it was welcome home, this is it.
I've just always been curious about religions and wanting to, explore different ones. And I think, Catholicism is probably the one that I was most familiar with, and that felt most familiar to me. And a lot of my family is Catholic, grew up in a Catholic country, a lot of my friends are Catholic. So there's certainly there's probably a certain maybe predisposition in a way because I was so familiar with Catholicism. But then obviously the fact that my partner is Catholic, that was a huge part of the decision. And then the other part, honestly, there were a couple of things that I felt were really important to me. So one is the Catholic social teachings that I felt really aligned well with the things that I believed already, and I wasn't ever aware of that. Sometimes it was explicit conversations about people having, slightly different interpretations of things, or, basically realizing that there's actually room for some diversity.
I did not grow up in a family that practiced any religion. I certainly had friends of all of different faiths and got to have some wonderful exposure through them. But no, that didn't come from my family. But coming to spend every week reading more of the gospel, understand different Catholic teachings and principles, it just felt like me. It felt like I found a home I didn't even know I was looking for.
We were still able to do some in-person meetings when I first started attending. It was kind of a wide range of people and where they were at in their process. I was I was like the newbie that kind of came in, so I was kind of just letting it wash over me. And then March happened, and we just went virtual right away. Like there was no breaks really. It was just like next Monday, meet on Zoom, 7:00. I had gone home to California. People kind of were everywhere. Being virtual like really didn't affect, I feel like, the process and what we had to do and how we talked and the conversations we had. I honestly think probably doing everything virtually made it easier to commit and keep coming, because when you're in person and like your job's in real life and then you have to travel and you're tired and then like, oh, I'm not gonna go that Monday or something like that. This was just like, you don't have it's so easy, just log on, and there was kind of no excuse not to keep going or come and join. I mean, I'm prime example of like, I was in California, I moved to Georgia for most of all of this. For most of all my RCIA Mondays, I was not in New York.
It's really well designed, just to speak operationally, logistically for a moment. It's designed for New Yorkers. It's designed for adults. It's designed for people, it's not everything is. It's designed for people who have jobs, who have different schedules, who have kids, who they make it really accessible. So we meet once a week on Monday evenings, and you look ahead to the gospel, the homily that's going to be shared in the upcoming week. And I know for me that was tremendously helpful because I felt a little bit intimidated.
Especially at the beginning, it was very just, we would read the gospel and then the conversation would just be open and it could go so many different directions. And then once we got towards Easter, we were on the road to being initiated, then there was more just concrete lessons and questions and PowerPoints, but they were so very helpful. So we had a good balance of starting off very fluid and then having concrete answers and what are the rules or what are traditions and things like that.
Growing up feeling kind of a hole it's not like that dramatic, but I did feel like there was something missing in my life, and I always was. That's why I think I was always curious about religion. I think, like being able to give that to my child or children, to have them have a different experience than what I had and not have that little piece that's missing in their life.
I can tell you that for me, my sort of journey with faith and Catholicism, as is true for everyone, started before RCIA, right? By the time you walked into your first RCIA meeting, you've already made a choice. You've made a commitment to yourself to at least to learn more, to open yourself up to this exploration of this faith that you're feeling. Prayer really has made a big difference in my life. It's probably the most tangible thing that I've brought into my life from RCIA. And now it's something that I try to do every single day. And if I find that if I sort of the same with any other thing that's good for you, right? If you're someone who works out and you miss that, or just when I don't pray, I feel it. I don't feel as good. I don't feel as attuned to myself.
I think like the religion in some ways just gives me a little bit of like structure and vocabulary to like think and talk about things that were already in my life. And so when I think about like raising children, like that's important, like structure and having the right language to explain things. What I was doing was like comparing my journey and where I was and the way that I interpret things with other people. And I think like that would, if I could go back and tell myself anything, and this was like part of what and through many tearful conversations with Jane, part of what I realized is like everyone's journey is different. You can't compare the way someone, believes, interprets, speaks about the religion to the way you do. Like it's just personal to you.
Just that first step, because then they're just going to welcome you with open arms and you will be safe. There's nothing to be afraid of, even though it does feel very scary to take that first step. Or just go for it, because you're obviously feeling something and you're being called to come forward if you're at this point where you're considering something. So just don't hold back, just do it.
It's for you. It's not, you're going to get to meet some really great people who are going to make you laugh, people who will make you cry, people who are willing to just be so open and vulnerable with who they are. So if you're that person, consider this your sign. It's your time to go. Join the meeting. Keep coming to Mass, go to an RCIA meeting. Guess what? If you find that it's not the right time or it's not the right fit, it will be waiting for you when you're ready. The faith will always meet you where you're at. But if you're that person, this is your sign. Time to go. Start RCIA.
Hi, my name is Jane Porcelli, and I'm the director for the RCIA, the Rite of Christian Initiation for Adults, here at St. Francis de Sales Parish on East 96th Street. RCIA is a fancy way of saying how we initiate folks into the Catholic Church. So, you want to know more? We take people where they are whenever they ring the doorbell or fill out the online form on our website that says specifically, I want to know more about RCIA. The process is more about formation than information. So we welcome you. If you're interested in this, I can't wait to meet you. Drop me an email and I'll get back to you right away.
Do you like what you see? This is Lydia Serrano, Director of Communications, Stewardship, and Outreach for St. Francis de Sales in New York City. We are a welcoming, inclusive, and multi-ethnic Catholic parish that serves a diverse community strengthened by our commitment to Jesus. If you want to see more content like this, please consider supporting our ministries by making a contribution online. We also invite you to connect with us on social media. Become a part of our efforts to usher in the kingdom of God here on 96th Street and beyond.